How about the best investment you made not connected to show business?
Well, I would have to say this building that we're sitting in. I made a little fort for myself, this little man cave, that happens to, be inhabited by other people who are creative and tech companies and other creations which cohabitate together, and happens to be a good investment from a real estate point of view, and a really good investment from a creative point of view, and a really good investment from my career point of view.
Did I have it right that you pretty much 4x'd the investment in this over the past decade that you've owned it?
I would think so.
How much real estate do you own?
Enough to survive. Not enough so that I don't have to work anymore.
Residential, commercial?
Residential and commercial rental properties. I always saw it as, I'll give you an example, when in the early 80s, okay, when Vegas was the biggest growing city in the world, Steve Wynn kind of created that. And what was happening when he was building these big hotels, the trades had to come there to, the electricians, the plumbers, the landscapers, the people who built, so they all came there. So the first thing we did, we go, because I was in the carpet business, me and my partner said, well, how do these people move there and then do their business? So we bought a lot of dirt around the airport, and we built these little, we called them commercial condos, but they're just little warehouse with a warehouse door and an office in front. So a plumber could have an office. He can get his shipment of whatever his things are in. I couldn't build fast enough to sell them out. Because all these trades and all this building was going on, and because of the tax benefits of Nevada, people started moving there. So then there's these companies like KB Homes, and there's these big development companies in America that bought dirt way out and subdivided to build 2,000 homes on a plot, like Summerlin and Henderson. None of these places were developed, and this is where people who now work on the Strip, this is where they all live. I'd go see where the land was subdivided before the houses were built, and I'd buy 2 acres of dirt that would lead into whatever the main artery into this new subdivision was. So I'd buy 2 acres of dirt, and people would say, for what? And I'd go, these are 2,000 families. Where are they gonna get gas? Where are they gonna buy their groceries? So I'd put on my 2 acres, a little strip mall of a gas station, a little AM/PM store, a little store, a car wash. And this became, I knew that I was gonna be serviced by 2,000 homes, so that I got to a point where I had like a bunch of gas stations. I ended up getting bought out, but it was, and my partner went into another business.
How many do you have?
Strip malls, I had about 8, and gas stations. The gas stations became the big business, and not for what you think.
What do you mean?
So in Nevada, gas was the least money you made. People go in and buy sundries at a gas station, but even more importantly than that, you rent out, in every gas station they had like a poker machine, an electronic poker machine. They would come in, these poker machine companies, they'd say, we'll put a poker machine in your gas station and we'll pay you like $30,000 a month rent. I go, wait, if you're paying me $30,000 a month, how much are you making? So on all the gas stations, and then not as much, but the post office come in so that you have a stamp machine there. Like when you go into these places and you see, stores are real estate. That's the way people do business now. And that's why when I get into the hologram business, I say, well, you know what? If you're paying rent to have your product here, or you're paying for the signage, let me put my hologram machine in there. And now anybody who walks by has access not only to you, but to everything you sell, and more than you can ever put on a shelf. And that's just as exciting as doing a show, producing TV, doing stand-up comedy, just finding a new way to do business.
You once said, what was important to me in my 30s is not important to me now. And you realize that things you chase don't matter and it's just the ability to get up and even chase something?
It's the chase. If you want to get up and do something, if you want to get up and talk Walmart into saying this is the new way to display everything you have in the store, and get Walmart to say yes, and we're going to buy, 2,000 of these machines, that's kind of exciting, isn't it? I did 22 Tonight shows, but does that really matter? Does anybody even know? Does anybody remember anything I did on the Tonight Show? No. But if this becomes the way of people doing business, the way a doctor can reach somebody who can't get to a doctor, the way somebody can see a 3D image because they can't, the way Christie's is now doing business, or at the same time, somebody can walk in here to do my podcast, but they can start playing League of Legends, and somebody like T-Pain wants to join, and they create a world league. I don't play games online, but I'm fascinated by the amount of people that engages, and I want to be part of that. It has nothing to do with me, but I've given them a roof.
What motivates you today?
I want to be a blank slate. And I want to wake up and find a motivation. And every day, sometimes 3 times a day, there's 3 different motivations. Whatever I'm motivated by right now is not what I will be motivated by tomorrow. I'm just saying I like that motivation, and I don't want to be held to a plan. Life's too short. The only thing I have is moments. Moments are my currency. Moments are everybody's currency. And just enjoy it, know the value in it, or hate it and know the value in it, but I just want to be open to these moments, and I don't want to steer myself away from a moment that's coming my way, because it comes at you. You don't go at it, it comes at you, and it's what you do with what comes at you that makes a difference.